Okay, we're going to wrap things up in 13.9 with some powers of I and how to simplify those. This is kind of a unique little cycle that occurs here in math. If we look at I to the first, that's simply I. Then if we look at I squared, that's -1. And then when we have I to the third, if you look at square root of -1 times itself 3 times, the first two here would get us that -1, and then this is simply I, so we end up simplifying that to -I. And then here, if you look at I to the fourth, this is I squared, which is -1, and this is I squared, which is -1. And when you multiply -1 times -1, you end up getting +1. So another thing to remember here is that -1 to the even power is 1, and you can test that on your calculator. But take negative inside of parentheses here, the even power, it's going to be 1, and then -1 to the odd power, it's going to be -1. So I'm going to show you how to simplify these to find out which one I to the 83rd would be equivalent to. Now I use a little different method than the Hawkes learning system does, and I'm going to divide 2 into 83, and that goes 41 times with a remainder of 1. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to write this as I to the second raised to the 41st, and then I have 1 I left over. So if we think about this, I have 82 I's here, plus 1 more I makes 83 I's. Well, here we have I squared to the odd power, which we know is -1. So what I end up getting is -1I, or better known as -I. So I to the 83rd would simplify to -I. Okay. Now trying that process on I to the 21st, I'll do 2 into 21 goes 10 times with a remainder of 1. So I simply write I squared to the 10th, and then 1 I left over. This is I squared to the even power, so this is +1, and times I equals I. And then 2 goes into 106 53 times with a remainder of 0. So I'll write this as I squared to the 53rd. Remember our exponent rule. We can check that, multiply that, it equals 106. So I have I squared to the odd power, -1. And then here I'll divide 2 into 2006. That goes 1003 times with a remainder of 0. So I have I squared raised to the 1003. And that also is equal to -1. Okay. If I had one that came out to an even power here, I'd want to use the even power rule there. But that's some simplifying of powers of I. There's various methods to do that. You could research it on YouTube and see some other methods if this one doesn't work out for you. So that wraps up 13.9.